You received a call from an inmate at the Department of Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored.
K-Dog. Oh my, I haven't heard from you in a while. No, I'm doing okay. You know, the weather's been nice, job's been pretty good, making some progress, so I can't complain. How's things going for you? You know, it's very rare anybody says that. I'm glad you're doing fine. Nobody's giving you any problems over there. The other cellmates are okay. All right, good. You know that okay. You know, all right. Who? Your cellmate's son was arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle? 15 years old? Oh, man. No, okay, you know, that's something I've been talking about. I have several people that I work with that were arrested as teenagers, and they were tried as adults. I can't believe they want to try a 15-year-old as an adult. Oh, my goodness. He just went crazy out there. So he had drugs and stolen property, identity theft. I mean, well, you know, our local police are saying that the people under 18, they usually have two things stuck on their mind. Either they're going to go out, commit a crime, and die, or they're going to go out, commit a crime, and go to prison. And as long as that's stuck in their mind, nothing can stop them. You know, I wish we had programs that would work with people like that. Well, you know, for one thing, his dad is in prison. And what about his mom? What's his... an addict. Yeah, foster care. Okay. Boy, this is not going to get any better unless we do something. We got to get out there. And you know, his childhood was just, it had to have been filled with some trauma. It had to have been traumatic. And of course, we can't blame everything on society. You know, it's not society's fault that these kids are going out here doing those things. It's just circumstances that got out of hand. It's they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Certain events happen in their life. I know if we put them in an alternative program, maybe revamp juvenile hall or something, or juvenile detention. But yeah, right. I know the tribal committees and stuff. I know they work with their folks, but you know, family, I think, is a big thing. Family, right? And he could, you know, that's why I don't like communication being cut off with people in prison, because if his son is feeling really, really bad, Randy? Okay, if Randy was feeling terrible and needed to talk to somebody, you know, sending out an email or writing a letter, or maybe when his dad calls him or his family, his aunt, okay, if he called his aunt, maybe he could talk and let some of this out. Sometimes they just need a father,
60 seconds remaining.
someone to talk to. Well, good. I'm glad you're going to work with them and, you know, keep them. It's got to be rough. Well, a lot of folks blame themselves for it, but he needs to be in the right environment and he can make the right decisions. A 15-year-old can't make decent decisions on his own, and he doesn't need anybody holding his hand, that's for sure. But, you know, if you want me to, I can reach out to Randy.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Okay, yeah. Just send me his dad's information and I'll see what I can do. We need to build up his supportive relationships. Maybe I can get with the district attorney and we could work something out. Well, okay, K-Dog. Thanks for sharing that with me, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. You take care of that man. Guide him. Help him out. Pat him on the back. All right. Later. Well, welcome to another episode of AQS Inmate Call. I am your host, Joel Wilborn, and I was on the phone with K-Dog. Of course, K-Dog is doing fine. He's in classes. You know, he was put in prison for life, murdered on an armed robbery, and he's just making best of what he's got. I work with him on occasion. He refers people to me, and then we'll discuss certain situations and cases and stuff about early release or resentencing, probation, things like that. And this particular call is about a young man named Randy who was arrested, and he has a Class B felony arrest for possession of a stolen vehicle, and they're talking about trying him as an adult. Now here we have a 15-year-old. He's a child. This child is not old enough to walk down to a recruiting office and join the military. This child is not old enough to get a driver's license and drive. This child cannot work overtime. And this child needs to be in school, needs to have mentorship, and needs to have a brighter future to look forward to. There's a lot a child should be doing instead of getting high from heroin and cocaine and other opioids. And he shouldn't be running around the streets stealing items. You know, he shoplifts stuff. He car prowls, identity theft. These are things that children should be doing for pretend. You know, they should be using their imagination or even writing stories about it, talking about it to their friends. I don't know why, because he commits a crime, he automatically becomes an adult. Now, he could be tried as an adult. What? He can smoke, join the military, buy alcohol. What makes this so special that he has to be tried as an adult now? You know, a 30-year-old man who's is in possession of a stolen vehicle or even steals a vehicle, he knows better. His life, he has many opportunities to learn and to make mistakes. He knows the risk. A 15-year-old, they don't understand risks like an adult. If their friends say, hey, let's go down to the river and jump off a bridge, it sounds like fun. They're not going to think if you jump off that bridge, one thing, it could be arrested by the police. Another thing, you could land in the water and injure yourself, or you could die from this. They don't think about these things. They're thinking, oh, this will be fun. This is something we haven't done before. And the risk just goes out the door. And for an adult who has been through all of their schooling, has worked on the job for a little while, you know, some things come up that says jumping off a bridge into a river is not a very good idea. And we expect that. So if they're arrested for jumping off a bridge into a river, the judge could say, you knew better than that. Now, granted, there are some adults out there who think like children. And there are adults out there who have conditions which don't allow them to make good decisions. It could be various ailments out there, or it just could be that they have an injury or something. And that's understandable. But I think when people go to court for whatever reason, it should be done on a case-by-case basis. Immediately, a person who goes to court, who's a child, that should be the first thing at the top of the line. This is a child, and we need to treat this person like a child. Hands down. You start treating a person like an adult, you're going to expect them to act like an adult, and they're going to get out of prison, and they're going to do adult stuff, because that's how they're treated. Treat them like a child, and some of them, that's what they're looking for. They're forced to grow up. Randy's moved around from foster homes. He's run away a few times, and his family wasn't really there for him, so he didn't have a chance to live as a child, to go out and fail a subject and get in trouble, or mess up on a date, get dumped by his girlfriend. He didn't really have a chance to experience that and then have a shoulder to cry on. He's forced to feed himself, clothe himself, find a place to live, and try to deal with these different families that take him in foster care. We have to understand what's going through this child's mind. We've been there. But if you grow up in a good, supporting atmosphere, it's less likely, it's not impossible, but it's less likely that you'll grow out or you'll go out there and start committing crimes. So you have to put yourself in his shoes. He's a child. He doesn't know any better. And then he gets caught up in this, and it's like, oh snap, I really messed up. And instead of, going from 25 to 35 in prison, he's going from 15 to 25. And then he walks out into the world. Now, let's try to take a scenario here. Now, one of the people I worked with, she was arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle, among other things. She's being charged with a Class B felony. Now, in the state of Washington, that could be up to 10 years in prison and hefty fines. It's something that you want a really good lawyer on your side for, because a lawyer can work something out. A judge most likely is going to look at this and say, you stole a vehicle that was worth over $5,000, and we're just going to say, that was very bad, don't do it again, go home. Part of the reason we have these prison systems and the justice system is to let people know that what you did was wrong. And if you do it again, it's going to be terrible, terrible things that's going to happen. So go out there and don't do it again. That's what we want. That's our goal. Now, I have another person I work with. She rented a car, and she sold that car to a man who had no idea. Now, let's just put ourselves into that situation. Okay, I'm going to combine these two real people to fit this Randy story, and so that you can have a better understanding of what's going on. Now, you are looking for a car. You're tired of riding the bus. You're tired of catching rides with folks. You're tired of Uber. You want your own car. Through a friend of a friend of a friend, you get word that there's this nice car, runs well, and for $1,500, it's yours. Now you look at this car, and this car is definitely beyond a shadow of a doubt, worth more than $1,500. Fantastic deal. You need a car. This is great. No questions asked. $1,500, you drive away. 2 months later, you're pulled over and you're arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle. And it's a Class B felony. It could be possible that they're looking through the car and they find this buck knife. And it was stolen. You found it in the car when you bought it. Yep. You never moved it, stayed in there. Now you're charged with theft. Okay, so it could just keep blacking out. I don't think they'll find any drugs. Nobody's going to be hiding it, in the wheel well or anything. But you're thinking, as you're riding off to jail, I should have known it was too good to be true. But I was just let myself be caught up in the moment because I really needed a car. I was tired of walking to work every day. So you go before the judge and the judge says, "Oh, this is a bad thing that you did." You say, "Oh, I thought it was a good deal." And the judge says, "Oh, you're better than that. You're old enough to know that this is not a good deal, that something's wrong. If it sounds too good to be true, it is." And so he gives you 10 years. So you're sitting in prison for 10 years thinking, yes, I was in possession of a stolen vehicle, but there were some circumstances that I shouldn't be here for that. And so you get out and, the rental companies, they're happy. The person who sold it to you could care less. Your family's disappointed in you. And you're out $1,500 and 10 years of your life, plus the fines that you have to pay. And then you're a felon. You getting a driver's license, getting a trade license, getting a job, getting a home, being able to apply for any benefits, to vote. A lot of things in your life has changed because of that one dumb mistake, that oversight. And this is going to be a part of your life forever, to the day they bury you. Now, this is what Randy's going through. Yes, he could be completely guilty of all these things, the drug possessions, the possession of the car. It's just that he's not thinking that I could go to jail or I could go to prison for a very long time for this. It could ruin my life. My whole childhood will be traumatized by living in this prison with these adults who say, "Oh, here's my opportunity. This is just a kid." And you got guards that really say, "Hey, you know what? You did this. You knew what you were doing. You acted like an adult. You have to live here with the adults. Deal with it." Now, can you relate a little bit to that situation? Can you see what this child is going through? I know a few states out there, some of them have already done it, but they're looking at legislation that anybody who commits a crime under 18 should not automatically be charged or tried as an adult. Now, maybe there's some things, if a child kills his family and then goes off to the prom or something, and you talk to the kid after arrest, and "Why'd you do this?" "Well, they restricted me to my room for a week, and I didn't want that. I wanted to go to the prom, so I killed everybody." Yeah, that could be a little adultish, grown up, except he's still a child. And he's not looking at the risk. He's not looking at what happened. There's children that do the most god-awful things, but why? What prompted them? What moved them in that direction? And that's what we need to find out. If a person's just killing the family to try to get an inheritance, if they're killing their family because they were restricted from doing something, they kill their teacher for revenge or for some kind of personal satisfaction, we have to look at that. What caused it? What brought this on? Don't automatically try a person as an adult just because this crime is big. There's something that caused this. Something went wrong. And in order to bring that person out of prison or out of a treatment center in a better state of mind, we're going to have to help this person to overcome whatever is traumatizing them. Now, a girl who becomes a bully and gets married and kills her firstborn child, maybe she was abused as a child. Maybe she was neglected. Maybe she felt that she wasn't worth living amongst us. So we need to work together to try to help these children. I don't see why we need to lock everybody up and throw away the key. I mean, you put a child in prison, it's going to traumatize them. That's a guarantee. Now, I have 2 stories that are on Oxyword on YouTube. We have Marianne Atkins, went to prison at 16 for murder. And we have Matthew Durham, who went to prison at 17. And listening to them explain what their life was like and what goes on with them, that's something worth your time. So I'm asking you to tune in. Listen to Matthew, listen to Marianne. And, think about this. Think about what we can do. We can complain and complain and complain, but if we don't offer a solution, all it is just venting. And nothing will be done. The room is dirty. I hate the dirty room. Why do we have a dirty room? I don't want walking into dirty rooms. Could be a health hazard with that dirty room. And people are going to yeah. The difference between complaining and nagging is complaining, you can do something about it. It's hot in here. Okay, let's turn down the heat. That's complaining. But it's raining and it's coming down hard. There's nothing you can do about it. You can complain. You can nag and nag and nag and nag, but you can't complain because you can't do anything about it. But if there's a dirty room, you can clean it. If we're having kids that are being tried as an adult, we can fix that. And we can also provide the resources to help kids stay away from the life of crime. And if these resources are available and parents can use them and kids can sign up for them, and we have funding that will take care of it, then when a child is arrested for possession of a stolen vehicle, we could say you had all these resources at your disposal. If you were running short on cash and you needed the job, there's resources that can help you find one. If you're having a tough time staying in a foster family, we have resources that can help you. All these things that people could reach out. Maybe one number, a 3-digit number that people could call, kind of like the 211 number, that could connect these folks with stuff. Most of these kids have phones anyway or access to them. And then just to be able to talk to somebody and try to work something out. Even the way they're talking about defunding a police department or something, what if these kids could just walk into a police department and say, if I don't get some help here, I have this terrible urge to commit a crime, or I'm being pressured into it, or I feel that I don't belong and I can't survive unless I shoplift. And then they don't get arrested, don't get judged. It's more or less like, let's help you. Let's work with you. If these resources are available and the kids, these children, still commit these terrible crimes, okay, it's easier to say, well, you had all these resources. But if they're finding out about them for the first time, or they're not even available, after the arrest, we're kind of, somebody could really get hurt because of this. So we can prevent a lot of this from happening by working with it. So let's turn our complaints into action. Isn't it easier to listen to somebody who complains to you, goes up and says, it's hot in here. Why don't you turn down the heat? Or it's hot in here. Let's turn on a fan, open a window. Rather than, it's hot in here. I can't stand walking in here. Why do I have to stay in here? I'm sweating all the time. I can't take off any more clothes. I'm not comfortable in here. Just listening to that and trying to think, well, what do you want? That's not going to help anybody. So let's turn these complaints into action. Let's offer some solutions. Let's talk to people. Because one of these kids could do something that will affect you. And as you're feeling your anger, you could learn a little bit more about this child and find out, oh my goodness, this little girl was abused by her stepfather for years. And then she comes out and steals and crashes my car, and I'm angry at her and glad she's locked up. Yet, there was nobody there for her when she reached out for help. She felt that the only way she could survive out there is either to die or go to prison. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in. And please check out AmericanQuittingSociety.org. Connect with some of the people that are on Oxyword on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, the Joel Wilborn channel, and open up a dialogue. Find out what's going on. And if you want, just kind of go online, find some pen pals networks and connect with some of these folks and learn. Put like the old saying, don't judge a person till you walk a mile in their shoes. Well, let's just walk that mile. Let's all walk that mile together. Let's just get a better understanding of what's going on. It's like the golden rule. It's something you'd want people to do for you. If you bought this car for $1,500 and you're ready to go to prison and somebody comes up and says, whoa, wait a minute. Let's find out what was going on. This guy needed a car. And there were no organizations that could offer him one. He couldn't get a loan. Let's find out what's going on. And, maybe it could happen to you or someone you know. Okay, enough said. Have yourself a wonderful day and go out and make beautiful memories for tomorrow.